To you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Lucchese, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. Buffalo Wild Wings. And by Omni. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, your hosts, Nicole Hutchison and Brad Sham.
And welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the Cowboy Hour. We are at, where are we? We're at
Sidecar Social.
Sidecar Social. We got back late, okay? We're at Sidecar Social in the Star District. And we welcome those of you who have come out. We know it was a tough game last night. And we'll remind you that our policy after games like that is we will address the fact that the game existed. We will talk briefly about what happened during it, and we will then move on. We're going to welcome Nicole, who is brand new to DallasCowboys.com. And we are just so thrilled to have our special guest, Cowboys punter and game captain Brian Anger. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for the invite. Appreciate it.
You bet. Now we want to say thank you to everybody listening all over the Dallas Cowboys radio network, and we want to thank you for tuning in whenever you're doing that on DallasCowboys.com. That's what these little black boxes are. If you're streaming, whatever day it is, hi, nice to see you. And we want to say special hello to all our listeners across the Dallas Cowboys radio network, including those who happen to be listening tonight on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM in Corpus Christi, and, of course, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. There was some injury news regarding the Cowboys today. Looks like C.J. Goodwin is going to be out for quite a long period of time with a torn pec. We'll have Brian talk about him. And they're awaiting further medical evaluation on Leighton Vander Esch, but he looks like he could miss a few weeks. So insult to injury last night. So Brian Anger has been around for a while, and he's going to help us process that game. That's what he's going to do. But I do want everybody to meet Nicole first. Welcome to you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. It's been quite the experience so far. I've only been here maybe 4 days.
Right,
so
that's what I was going to say. You've been an employee of DallasCowboys.com 4 days.
4 days, literally.
Jump right in. We're going to have a Sunday night game, which they're going to lose 42-10, and you come on in and make everybody happy, right?
Yeah, that was tough to watch. But listen, I'm glad to be here covering this amazing team.
Right, it's sports.
Yeah.
Tell everybody where you have come from.
Ooh, I've made a couple of different stops. So I graduated from Howard University May 2019, went to Alexandria, Louisiana, the middle of nowhere, but I got to cover LSU when they won the national championship. Then I went to Lexington, Kentucky, got to cover the University of Kentucky, and then now I'm here. I'm back. I'm close to home. I'm from Houston, Texas, so yeah. Excited to be here.
Welcome.
Thank
welcome.
you.
I have to be very careful how I say this, but I know where Alexandria, Louisiana is because I spent some time at Fort Polk. Is it still Fort Polk, or have they renamed it?
Nope, it's still Fort Polk.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend spending your summer there, but that's a whole different story. All right, so Brian Anger, Pro Bowl punter 2 years ago, had the best, not only his best season ever, but the best season a Cowboy punter has ever had. And this is your fourth team, right?
Fourth team, yep.
Ooh.
So you've lived through bad games. I mean, it's inevitable.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
My first 4 years were pretty terrible.
In Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Which drafted you in the third round.
Yep.
We'll get back to that. You're on a good team that is always going to be disappointed when it loses and never expects anything like happened last night. So share some wisdom about how, as a veteran player, you process a game like that and help other younger players keep it in perspective.
I think last night was an outlier. There's not really much. We'll break it down. We haven't done it yet. We had today off just to recover a little bit. Got in town late last night.
Actually, you got in town early this morning.
Yeah, early this morning. Yeah, sorry about that. But unfortunately, sometimes that happens. Don't have much for you there. Don't have much advice. Just sometimes it happens. you want it to be very much less frequent than the winning side. So we'll keep it that way.
Is it easy? I'm sorry.
No,
Is
it's
it easier for the specialists you guys are involved in a very specific activity, and it's hard to blame you for everybody wants to blame somebody for everything that happened. It's hard to blame any of you guys for anything that happened last night. Is it different doing that than being an offensive or defensive player, do you think?
We tie into the whole thing. You hope that we wouldn't impact the game. Sometimes we do. In bad games like that, especially early in my career, you let the mojo, you let the feel of the game kind of get to you, and you start playing down to that level as well too. So you get kind of dragged into it. So you just have to fight that and focus on your job and keep it job specific. So just our job is simple. You want to keep it simple, I guess, and excel. Yeah.
Mike McCarthy told the media today that he's giving you guys an extra 2 days to evaluate, kind of think about this loss and kind of let it marinate a little bit. Do you feel like that will kind of help, or how much of a benefit do you feel like that is?
It's nice to purge, hit the purge button and just get it over with. At the same time, we play on Monday night, so it's just it's a different situation. So we have that one extra day.
Yeah.
We got in early this morning. Need some time to recover, and we'll get back in. Everybody will have thought about it enough and get back in and hit the purge button.
Normally, you guys would come in on a Monday, right?
Yeah.
And today you did not, or at least you weren't. It wasn't required.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys probably came in anyway.
Yeah, a lot of guys come in and meet with coaches. Nothing required. We had a lift this morning, and that was it. We usually meet with position coaches and break it down and get it all over with.
So after a night road game, especially on one of the coasts, how much sleep will you get on that Sunday night or Monday night?
It takes a while to decompress. Usually you get home and take a couple hours to wind down after the game. A lot of feelings going on. We had a 3-hour flight. For me, it felt like an hour. So we landed. I got home and I fell asleep relatively quickly, but had that 3 hours to break down and compress a little bit. But yeah, it's hard to wind down.
All right, I want you to talk about C.J. Goodwin a little bit and mention that he has an injury that could be quite serious. I don't know if it was last night that I said it or the week before during the game that one of these years someone's going to realize how good he is and make him a Pro Bowl special teams player. And Coach Fossil talked today about how much he means to the special teams units besides what he does on the field on game day. You're with him all the time. You know him as well as anybody. Talk a little bit about what C.J. Goodwin brings and what you'll miss for however long he's out.
Yeah, he's our honorary specialist. He has a very distinct role that usually there's one person like that per team, and they've got to be a stud to be able to maintain a career in the NFL just on special teams. He's been around. He's been in the Super Bowl. He's been from a basketball player at a very small university to trying out football to, oh, hey, I run a 4.29 and I'm going to try this football thing out. So he's kind of seen it all. And he brings that experience for the young guys in a different perspective to where he hasn't always had success. So he's going to be a major loss. It's going to hurt, but Coach Fossil Bones is also great at bringing out talent in guys. Jalen Tolbert's playing awesome right now. We lost Kelvin Joseph to a trade earlier and needed to fill that other gunner role, and Jalen stepped in and has done a great job where he hasn't played that position before. So we will feel the loss of CJ, but we've got one of the best coaches to put us in a good position. So we'll see.
When you mentioned Jalen, were you specifically trying not to have to pronounce Noah Igbenogany's name?
Yeah, Noah. That's all we say, Noah. Yep.
How's the camaraderie within that group?
It's close. Again, again, falling into Coach Bones, he's one of the best in the business, and he keeps us close. We do different activities. We have like a special teams brotherhood, and we'll have some root beers before games occasionally, and just kind of getting together and talking about life and getting away from the game of football. So he's special, keeps us close, and I think that's just very specific for Bones. I haven't had that previously in my career, so he does a good job with keeping us together.
A lot of veteran special teams guys who spend a lot of time on teams who come here. You've had like 3 long snappers now in your time here, and they all say Bones is the reason they're here. Is he the reason you're here?
He has a huge role in why I'm here. When I got drafted, Bones was with the St. Louis Rams, so Bones had a workout with him, showed a ton of interest, and was potentially going to get drafted there. Used that, kind of leverage some of the coaches that we knew were going to potentially draft me, and Jacksonville ended up taking me in the 3rd round. So Bones and I go back to pre-combine, pre-bowl game, chatting with him, just kind of having a big potential of landing with him in St. Louis. That didn't happen. Stayed close with him throughout. I probably played him 5 or 6 times throughout my career in the first 8-9 years. We seemed to always play them either in preseason or during the season. So ran into them a lot. I was close with Greg Zerline. He was my roommate in the East-West Shrine game in St. Pete. So Greg and I go back to pre-draft and pre-NFL. So that core group that stayed together in L.A., I always felt like I kind of was attached to them a little bit more just because of the situation, yeah.
You were a game captain last night, and this team selects captains week by week. Bones has told us that the special teams game captain gets his parking place for the next week. Now, where is that exactly?
He's right up front. I think it's Jerry, Coach McCarthy, DQ and Shoddy, and then Bones in the next. So we're right up front. It's a very, very nice perk.
Mike has talked a little bit about what he has his captains do during the week. I think it's a fascinating process. Not every team does it. What's a game captain do on this team? When do you find out? And for the next few days, what are you doing?
Yeah, Coach McCarthy has us specific to a day. Coach McCarthy has us break down the team at the end of practice. We, on Wednesdays, the specialists are on a little bit of a different schedule than the rest of the team. So we go in the indoor and we'll usually get our work done. We're a little limited on space in the fields outside, so we go inside and kind of escape. I wasn't there on Wednesday, and Coach was looking for me, so I run into the locker room, and everybody's like, "Where were you?" I didn't get in trouble. It just was a little bit of a pause that I wasn't there, and they adjusted. And I think I broke it down on Friday or Saturday. So each guy will break down. We have a call-up guy that'll speak to the team before the game. Luckily, the call-up guy was Dak, because I'm not the biggest hoorah person out there. So Dak took that, and it's week specific.
Okay. What was Dak's message? What was the message from Dak?
We miss it. I go out to warm up before the rest of the team comes out there. We're out there getting some last-minute kicks. Just
Nicely
before the rest of the team. Yeah.
Nicely avoided.
Yeah.
All right, we are very happy to have everybody with us, whether you're here at Sidecar Social or whether you're joining us on DallasCowboys.com or on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Cowboys punter Brian Anger is our special guest this week on the Cowboys Hour.
And when it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we'll be right back.
Go Cowboys!
At Sidecar Social in the Star District at Frisco. Thanks for being with us. To all of you who are here at Sidecar Social, and to our special guest, Brian Anger, the Cowboys punter. There we go. There we go. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't get you to talk about young Mr. Aubrey for a bit. There's a rash of rookie kickers around the league, and a lot of them seem to be doing real well. Brandon's an interesting guy to me with his background, and he's very quiet, at least around us. So let's start with that. What kind of a guy is he? What's he like with his teammates?
He's great. Just for kicker mentality and mindset, the kid was an engineer, working a regular job, played soccer. I'm sure the story's been told, but he was a first-round draft pick, one of the highest recruits coming out in high school, had all the success in soccer, and kind of had the writing on the wall that he was going to play soccer. Didn't go as well, and went through failures there with soccer, decided, hey, I think I can kick a football. Started kicking a football, and then now he's here. And he told me probably millions of other paths that he could have taken that would have not led him to where he's at right now. So it's kind of cool. He's got the innocence still, which is a good thing. We want to keep it that way.
Wait, stop there. How does that manifest?
He's very good, and as long as he keeps it up, it's a hard thing to sustain, but he can just maintain innocence almost and just not even realize what's going on, and not realize how good he's doing. It's gonna be thrown in his face. We're the Dallas Cowboys. There's media here that other teams don't have, so he'll be presented with that info. But for the most part, he knows to ignore the noise. He started off well, and let's hope he keeps it up.
We'll have him out here one night, but he's from Plano, so it's not like he didn't know that the Cowboys were here. And I don't know if he was a football fan as a kid or not, but he seems to be just completely unflappable.
Yeah, and I think that's where the past soccer experience has helped him out a ton. Obviously, it's not the same scale as what we have here with the Cowboys, but he's been on a professional team, been in a professional setting, never had college experience with kicking, which is crazy to me. And that's where the innocence part comes in, is he hasn't been exposed to big games. Not bashing them at all, but the USFL is nothing. They have 12,000 people in the stands, and we have that in a practice pretty much. So it's just a whole different experience, and he's doing well.
I'd say he's doing well. He missed his first extra point. He hadn't missed a thing since. It's a little reminiscent of Dan Bailey when he started here. Bones said today, the 50-yarder that he hit last night, that you and Bones turned to each other and said, that's like the best kick he's hit and one of the best we've ever seen. Is that right?
Yeah, the conditions there weren't. It was breezy on the field. Wind was swirling a little bit. You don't want to give up the uprights. That means you don't want to start the ball outside of the uprights. So he's got a powerful enough leg to where you can just power it through. And he hit that ball from 50 yards. It cleared the uprights. It was like 3/4 up the uprights when it went through the uprights, and that's probably a 70-yard kick out there in conditions. It's not like it's indoors. There's wind as a factor. So just bombed it.
For you being a veteran in this league, how have you seen him grow so far, would you say?
He's just staying steady, and I think that's the most important thing. He's been steady when he came in. He had a very professional routine. He was competing with Tristan Vizcaíno, which has played on an NFL team before, so it's not like he was just competing with a nobody. And he came in probably with a more professional approach to everything. Came in right away, and you're like, all right, this kid is the real deal. He means business. So he came in right away, and that's where we saw his mentality. Very level-headed, even. And we talk about it all the time, staying neutral, and that's where he just is stone cold, neutral all the time, which is awesome.
I want to stay with the operation just for a minute before we get off the subject. 3 kickers, 3 regular season kickers, just since you've been here, Greg and Brett, and now Brandon, right?
Yes.
And so every kicker, so we're told, has the way he likes the holder to hold the ball. And have you had to adjust to each one of them?
Honestly, they all are pretty close. They're not too picky. You have some guys out there that are very picky and want the ball set a certain way. They all have a similar setting, maybe a tiny bit different, but not much at all. So yeah, I'd say they're similar mindsets. You have Greg, who's same as me, 12-year vet. Brett, I think, what's he, 6 or 7, and then comparing Brandon to those two, it's a cool thing. That's where you see that his approach and his professionalism, he's comparable to some of the older guys where he's at. And he is a 28-year-old rookie, so he's more mature, and he's still young and innocent, like I said before, but still is professional and has his ways.
And here's the other thing that I find unusual is that I think this is right, that you've had 3 long snappers in the 3 years. Jake got hurt. Jake McQuaid got hurt. Matt Overton came in, really accomplished. And now you have Trent Sig. And tell me about the adjustment between you're the holder and you're the punter. And so you're in more communication with that long snapper than anybody else. How's that? What kind of an adjustment has that been for you?
It's not bad. I mean, luckily let's say there's 36 guys in the NFL that snap a football in a given season. Those 36 guys are the top 36. So they're going to be good, or else they're not going to be here. So they make my job a lot easier. You're talking about laces out. The guys put it within like an eighth of a turn. So on a clock, it's between, let's say, 10:30 and 1:30 that they put it for the most part. So it takes a lot of guesswork away. I don't have to worry about much, and they just get the ball set there. So they're the top guys for a reason. And yeah, it's their job to make my job easy.
I would say for me, I don't think I realize, or a lot of people don't really realize how difficult it is for the timing from the long snap to the actual release of the punt. You've got guys coming at you. How difficult is that timing in reality?
Yeah, it's crazy. We don't think about it just because I practice it so often, but you've got 260-pound, big, huge human beings run at you, and you have to get the ball off in 2 seconds. The snappers, again, they snap the ball usually like it'll be I don't even remember, let's say 0.7, and then I have like a 1.3 second handle time myself, so you want to be around 2.0. That's quick, and catching a football, snapping, catching, getting a perfect drop, which always isn't the case, so that's where you just have to adjust a little bit and getting the football off. And it's 1.3 seconds from snap to kick on a field goal, so it's quick, but that's where those guys are so good. It makes my job easy, and the ball's there. I just have to make very micro adjustments. So, yeah, it's cool.
Wow, impressive.
So you're like fine wine to me. You seem to get better. I mean, you're 35, which is like young to me, but 2 years ago you had your best statistical year and the best year a Cowboys punter has ever had. So how do you account for that at that stage of your career? And you look like, I mean, not much went different or wrong last year. It doesn't take more than a couple of kicks here and there to throw off the statistics. But to me, you look like you're doing what you did a couple of years ago right now. How do you feel about that? And why do you think you've achieved maybe your best performance at this stage of your career?
It's just building consistency over the years. Early in your career, especially in college, you're working on a lot more. It would take me a while to kind of find my drop and find my swing, to where now I pick up the ball after taking a long break, and it's just like riding a bike. So it's building on the foundation that you set. I'd say just consistency. Early in my career, I used to swing out of my shoes. So it's like on a golf course, the harder you swing, the more variability you'll have on the ball.
Try to crush every kid?
Yeah, you try to crush everything, and that's where I've got a big leg and can hit big balls, but you can also have some bad misses. So I think probably the 4th year in Jacksonville or going to Tampa is when I realized that I didn't have to hit a ball 100%. I could hit it 85, 90%, and that's where that helped me figure it out a lot more. It's just staying consistent with my swing and just taking a little bit off and being more controlled, just like similar to a golf swing. You control it, you end up hitting it further just because you make pure contact. So I'd say, yeah.
When you have a year like you did a couple years ago, and I'm saying I think you're off to a really good start this year. Does it feel like you found the fountain of youth and you'll just keep going until someone says thank you very much?
I'd like to keep going. I don't know what the number will be, but I would like to keep going. My leg strength hasn't dropped yet, so I still have a lot of power. And there's guys over the years who did lose leg strength, and you just start going more directional and try to paint the out of bounds, paint the white paint, we call it. So that's not there yet. Once I hit that point, I know I'll be about 2 years left because I don't want to do that very much. So yeah, we'll see.
What's the process of developing that leg strength?
For me, I played everything. I played baseball, basketball, football, soccer. So I think it's the cross training. Basketball was my favorite, and I was explosive. I could jump, which translate to a fast leg swing. I'm 6'4", and I have super long legs and a short torso. So it's also physics there too that help my whip on my leg. Just being blessed and having a long leg. So tying in a little bit of everything builds that strength and builds that leg speed and leg strength.
Didn't George Blanda punt into his late 40s?
I have no idea. I know there's a few Fiegels. Jeff Fiegels, I think, played for like 23 years.
Do you even know who George Blanda is?
No, I do know George Blanda. Yes, I don't know how long he played.
I'm going to look that up while we take a little break and come back because we got a lot more with Cowboys punter Brian Anger. So happy to have Brian with us here this evening.
And Lucchese, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Another fine sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys Hour. We'll be right back.
Go Cowboys!
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons.
And welcome back to Sidecar Social in the Star District in Frisco. Brad Sham and Nicole Hutchinson with our special guest, Cowboys punter Brian Anger. Thanks to everyone for being with us this evening. Don't forget, next week we will not be here on Monday night because Brian and I and some of our friends will be at SoFi Stadium on Monday night. We will, however, be here on Tuesday night next week, so please come join us. Brian won't be here, but Nicole and I will be here. So I just showed my lack of sleep, I think, because George Blanda was a place kicker. He was not a punter and a quarterback. I think he played till 48. Sean Landetta, you know of Sean Landetta? You ever hear that name?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. 44 years of age, was the oldest punter apparently in the NFL. So you got plenty of time.
Yeah, that's a lot. We'll see. That's a lot. That's a very lofty goal.
What there is one thing about the fine art of punting that just fascinates me. I'm strange. I like in baseball. I love the physics of the way pitchers grip different pitches and what they can do. So the art of the flip-flop punt, which just only came into vogue 15 or 20 years ago, the fact that you can do that and turn a ball over the way you do when you have a short field and you don't want to crush it, that seems to me an almost incomprehensible art. How do you learn to do that? What do you do differently?
You drop the ball more just pretty much straight up and down. You want a little bit forward. You don't want to hit the nose of the ball. We'll take it back to the swinging smooth thing. My kryptonite in my career has been like the 58-yard out ball. That's where you just take a little bit off your swing. You don't want to hit it to the end zone. So you want to leave it at the 10-yard line, a 10-yard line. You want to hit a 50-yard ball. Should be easy. 50-yard average is a good thing, but you end up taking a little bit off of your swing and you end up making perfect contact and the ball carries into the end zone. And I've had probably 8 touchbacks from the 58 to 62-yard out mark. Throw the ball or place the ball with the nose down. You can swing as hard as you can, and the ball is going to go 45 yards max. So you can control it better. You know there's a limited distance on it to where if you turn a ball over, that thing can carry 65 yards and it just blasts through the end zone. You don't want that. So you're really just taking out the pitching wedge and just hitting a different shot because of the contact on the football.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I kind of want to take it back to where it all started since you have had so much success at this position. Just what made you said you played so many different sports. Why? What made you decide football?
Football, I honestly just played. I played wide receiver. My brother played football I have an older brother that's 10 years older than me and another that's 8 years older. They both played football in high school, so I played football in high school. We did soccer growing up all the way through to high school, and then basketball was the same season as soccer, so I dropped soccer and played basketball. I honestly thought baseball was where I was going to chase a college scholarship. I was really good at baseball. I'm long and lanky and can throw the ball fast and hit well, so I thought I'd be chasing a baseball
Position?
scholarship.
What position?
Kind of all over the place. Started at first base because I'm tall and can stretch. Worked out to the outfield because I got faster and had a big arm. If I was to stay, I would have started pitching. I know that our coach had plans for me to pitch because I had a good arm, but started getting scholarship offers for football, and then just decided to focus on football once a lot of scholarships pulled in. So, just doing everything. That's what I tell. There's a lot of young kickers and punters, and mostly kicker and punter parents that are the crazy ones that ask, what do I need to do to get there? And I just tell them, do everything you can. It's the cross training and it's everything that helps build the skill.
It's interesting to me that you said that about kickers and punters. It doesn't feel like that long ago to me. It probably was, but it feels like it was within maybe 20 years ago that it was not uncommon for one of either the punter or the kicker to maybe not excel at the other skill, but to be able to do it. And either one could kick off And I think we have come to an age of specialization now where most punters are not kicking off. Most place kickers really don't have any experience punting. Could you do either one if something happened, heaven forfend, to Brandon? Would you be the backup kicker?
I could get it done. We'd have a limited range, but I could get it done. I kicked in high school up to my sophomore year. Chris Saylor kicking. My coach is worked with Chris Ignacio Brache. They're down in Southern California. When I started kicking in high school is when the specialization, I feel like, took off even more, and that was 15 years ago. We had a conversation with Chris. I went there, tying into the last question. My parents kind of forced the move for me to kick. I fought my parents for like a month, telling them that kickers aren't real athletes, that I'm not going to kick the football. I said my brother Mikey played wide out, and I'm going to be a wide receiver and play baseball. And I fought them for a month straight, not wanting to go to these private lessons.
What made them give in?
I finally went. They just kept on me, and finally went as a place kicker. My mom wanted me to go as a place kicker just so playing varsity the next year, I understood what I was doing, and I had some type of fundamentals. So if I'm thrown into a clutch situation, need to make a field goal at the end of the game, I could go out and do it, and I know what I'm doing. So I went there as a place kicker. Did okay, not great. I had a decent leg, but just was okay because I didn't really care about it. The last 15 minutes of the session, I started punting, and the Chris Saylor came over and made a couple adjustments.
Had you punted before?
I punted just for fun. So freshman, sophomore year, I punted, and I just did it just for fun. I played soccer, and I could kick a football, so I enjoyed punting more. And then Chris came over and made a couple adjustments and started turning the ball over, like 4-4, 4-6, hang time, decent, good in high school. And Chris made some adjustments, and I started turning the ball over. And he said, we have an event in Vegas like twice a year. There's one coming up in December. I think this was, or in January. We were in November. So 2 months later, I went to the event and won it as an underclassman, and that's when everything just went crazy.
So Nicole's question was, what made your parents give in?
Yeah.
But my question is, what do you think, did they ever express to you, what made them push you to be a kicker instead of a position player?
I was a position player, number one. They just wanted me to go. We never knew that this would take off the way that it did. I don't know if anybody could have predicted it. I was adamant about being a wide receiver and was serious about
baseball. They get hit more, you know.
Yeah, I know, and that wouldn't have played out either. So I have a baseball body. I'm a long and lanky guy, so baseball would have been the sport, and then it just took off. So it caught us all by surprise, and they kept on me. I was not flexible. I couldn't touch halfway down my shins. So flexibility was a huge part that my mom kept on me to stretch every day and built my flexibility, which helps limit injuries. So they were a blessing and helped me through this.
Were your folks athletes? Because it sounds like they weren't just stumbling into this blind.
They in high school, but they didn't go on to anything else other than recreational sports. So my brother played soccer at UC Irvine, and then transferred, went to University of San Diego, the private school, and kicked actually for a year, just because he could. He took up kicking, kind of like Brandon, not as grand of a scale, but kicked for 1 year, and that was it for him. So they had experience with him. He played club soccer at a high level. They traveled to the Dallas Cup and competed in the Dallas Cup. So he played very seriously. So they've been around the sport. They've been around. They know how it works out.
All right, let's talk about your hidden talent. You're 1-for-1 passing this year. I don't have your career statistics in front of me. What's your career passing record?
I think I'm 2 for 3. We had one against San Francisco a couple years ago in the playoffs. I'm 3 for 4 actually. We had one in Jacksonville, and then I missed one in Tampa. So 3 for 4.
Well, the guy probably dropped it.
It was a play that got blown up. I was supposed to get outside edge, and they kept contained on the outside, and I just had a guy in my face, and I had to throw it prematurely. So it was a broken coverage. Yeah.
So when you have been as versatile an athlete as you were growing up, and you get this opportunity, how much of a kick is that? Would you rather complete what you did a couple weeks ago was an extra point. I still think they showed that for a reason. We'll find out as the season unfolds, and I wouldn't ask you to divulge that. But, I mean, would you rather, like off a fake field goal, throw a touchdown pass or drop a punt inside the 10-yard line?
Definitely the touchdown pass. You don't get the chance to do that really ever. It depends on the coach and whether they have the gusto to call it or not. So fortunately, we'll tie in Bones again with being awesome. He knows the chess match of the special teams play and works those in for a reason. So I love that we're able to do that. I get to drop a ball inside the 10. I mean, I can do that every other game. We have the opportunity to do that. So it's once a year that you have a chance to throw the ball. Hopefully more. We'll see. But yeah, I've thrown 4 passes in 12 years, so I need to keep on going.
When was the last time Chauncey had one thrown to him?
I don't know. I don't know if ever. I don't know if he's caught anything
Did you have
ever before.
any qualms about?
No.
I'll put it there, but I don't know if he's got the hands.
He's a big human and has huge hands, so the ball just gets engulfed by those hands. So I think it's hard to miss. Yeah, it's crazy.
Cowboys punter Brian Anger is our guest on the Cowboys Hour this evening. Audience questions from here at Sidecar Social when we come back.
And it's big, it's good, and it's only for Cowboys fans. The Cowboys special from the Cowboys and Papa John's. A large one-topping pizza for only $9.99. Order today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we'll be right back on the Cowboys Hour.
Go Cowboys!
Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons.
And welcome back. We're at Sidecar Social, our home for the rest of the year on the Cowboys Hour. The Star District in Frisco, Brad Sham, Nicole Hutchinson, our special guest this evening, Cowboys punter Brian Anger. We thank Brian for being here, everyone else for joining us. And don't forget, next week we're here on Tuesday night because the Cowboys will be playing the Chargers in Los Angeles next Monday night. And let's take a few questions for Brian Anger from our audience here at Sidecar Social. That mic's not up, Ivan. Let's see what we can do about that. Keep going. Okay, he's going to stand by. He's going to fix it. Little technical question. Go ahead, Nicole.
All right. Just tell us, I know you like to fish. Ooh, that's one thing I was going to get at. I know you have a hidden talent of fishing. What's that like, and how often do you fish?
Yeah, now you're talking what I want to talk about.
You should have said something earlier.
No, I can't bring it up. Yeah, I love fishing. We live in Tampa. I lived in Jacksonville for 4 years and then have been in Tampa since. I'm used to cold water in California, so water right now is probably like 90 degrees. So I started scuba diving back in Jacksonville and do a lot of spear fishing. I do a lot of line and rod and reel fishing too, but spear fishing is the way to go, and it's just so much more fun. So.
Now, it's been many years since I scuba dived, but I have done a little bit of that, but not. I mean, where do you dive in the Gulf?
We dive in the Gulf, yeah, just offshore St. Pete and Clearwater. So there's a ton of natural ledge structure, and there's some wrecks out there that you can explore, and there's just so many good grouper, snapper, hogfish. There's a lot of good species out there to eat, and yeah, it's fun.
All right, how do you pick up a spear to start? How do you start spear fishing?
I started just recreational diving, just kind of hitting some structures. Same thing, some ledges.
Just like someone would go to the gun range,
just to try it out. My brother and I, my brother Matt, both are very outdoorsy and are hunters and fishermen. We lived in Southern California with the kelp forest, and we always said that we wanted to go and get certified and dive those kelp beds. The only bad thing is there's great white sharks out there, so we never really got into it. There's sharks everywhere, and knowing now, as long as you have a good team with you and aren't going solo in the water, you can keep that regulated. But kind of just built up as seeing fish on dives, just exploring ledges and exploring some springs. There's a ton of freshwater springs in Florida as well. And then being like, you know what, I like fish and I like to hunt, and I'm going to put the two together and do it underwater. So
how hard is it I've never tried that. How hard is it to try to master the control of the spear gun and aim to be able? Those fish move pretty quick.
They move quick, and the more you do it, the more you know the tendencies. It's like film study with us. We know the tendency of different teams. You know the tendencies of different fish. So
and they have different tendencies.
Some are quicker. Some are more curious and will come right up to you and just give you an open shot at them. So it's more close. It's more close range.
Well, there's no sport in that, is there?
But they taste good. So, yeah.
Which are the ones that will do that? Which make themselves most?
Hogfish, yeah. It's a hog snapper. They come up. They're really inquisitive, and they come up right to you. And the males kind of flare up at you, trying to figure out what you are and be a little bit territorial. So when they flare up, they just give you an open target.
This is what I love. I had no idea we were going to learn this tonight. Okay, let's try this again.
How you doing, Brian?
Good. How are you?
How you doing, Brian? My name's Tony. Have you ever worked with a better special team coach than Coach Fossil? Because I don't think we've had one better here since Coach Joe Avizano.
No, I think that I've worked with some good coaches. I'll say that. Bones is very special. Yeah, very, very special. I was my best. I think I've had a couple great years, and that has a lot to do with Bones and the way he does things. So I'll just leave it right there.
You know, it's an interesting. Thanks, Tony. It's an interesting question. There was a stretch there, and Joe Avizano was demonstrative. And there was a stretch there where it seemed like every notable special teams coach was a crazy-eyed wild man on the sidelines, which I would not use those words to describe John Fossil. And you don't have to be that way. Did you play for some of those?
No, most of mine have been calm. But yeah, Bones is kind of a silent assassin. He's a amazing schemer. You never know what's going to come with him. If you look back at his resume of Pro Bowl punters, it's quite incredible. Go back to Shane Leckler, how many years he hit it. Johnny Hecker, how many years he hit it when they were together. Me here, fortunately. So he's got an amazing track record of specifically punters, and he's had some great kickers too. So there's a reason for that success.
Hello, Brian. My name's Rambo.
Hey, Rambo.
I have a question. So during games, specifically during loss, there's always a blame game. Who to blame? The offense, defense, sometimes specific players. Typically, the punter kind of lays low under the radar when it comes to the blame game. What are your words of wisdom to motivate the team, knowing you're kind of the guy that's laying low under the radar when it comes to the blame game?
I don't think there's any blame game. It's a team sport. Our locker room's extremely close, so I don't think anybody's going to sit there and do that. At the professional setting, this is our job, and we study the game a ton, and this is what we do. So obviously we don't want that to happen, but like I said earlier, it's just kind of more so hit the purge button and on to the next week. It happened. It's over. Just let it go. And hopefully we'll see them again in the future, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Rambo, thank you. What's your physical regimen like compared to other position groups during the week?
We lift, obviously not as much weight probably as the rest, but we do lift the regular schedule as everybody. We'll have some specific hip and different mobility exercises to hit. We'll have a day or two of recovery, either doing like dry needling, acupuncture, or cupping, or some of those different recovery tools. So, yeah, I'd say fairly regular.
Is there a lot of running involved? No.
Not much. It's more maintaining. We'll run a little bit. We have a activation Saturday, so we kind of fire our nervous system on Saturday. I never had that. This is the first team to have that. So we try to not let our body stay at rest. They tell us, that it's studies, the human body's lazy, and once you start resting, then your body just kind of shuts down. So that's where Saturdays we kind of trigger and fire our nerves and get going again. So
but get a little rest tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Brian Anger, thank Brian for being with us tonight, and welcome Nicole. We're so happy to have you, and we will be back next week on the Cowboys Hour.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?